This week is Severe Weather Awareness Week. Chief Meteorologist Jennifer Zeppelin joins us now to talk about tornadoes. Just last week, the first tornado warning of the season was issued in our area. Jen, how can we be prepared?
Yeah, we know that we're going to see a lot more of those coming our way here in the coming weeks and even months, Jenny. And the big thing right now is that most everybody is staying at home at this point. And so just to give you a refresher on where is the best spot to go when you are staying at home, well, this is what we want to remind you, is that really it's the central part of your house. You want to be away from, at least you want to have layers in between you. So if you do have a basement, that would be your best bet, that you could get, again, to the lowest level. But if you don't have one, maybe even the central part of your house. So we're talking about possibly a bedroom, maybe even a bathroom, no windows, no glass. And once again, you might want to consider taking blankets, pillows, even a helmet for the kiddos. And the other thing is, don't forget your charging cord for your cell phone. That is always a key thing to take down with you so you can keep track of what's going on. Now, when a tornado does strike, it can do a lot of damage, and the National Weather Service is deployed whenever severe storms break out and a tornado develops and causes destruction. Typically, what we see on the enhanced Fujita scale is the scale that runs from EF0 to EF5. We're talking about the wind speeds, but it also measures the damage and the destruction that the path of the tornado cuts. Here in Nebraska and even Iowa, the overall average of the type of tornadoes that we see kind of run between 65-mile-per-hour winds up to about 135-mile-per-hour winds. So we're talking about EF0s to about EF2s. Now again, tornadoes can form and develop at any time of day, morning, afternoon, even the evening hours. But the thing to really keep in mind is that how they generally form is that we get this updraft, very warm air that's being lifted up inside of the storm, and that also helps to provide that vertical rotation that can go on as the storm is building throughout the afternoon. Eventually, as that column of air really starts to see the updraft and the downdraft going on, that circulation, you can see this formation that occurs, and it becomes vertical, which is where the rotation can occur depending on just how intense a storm is. As I mentioned, we can see storms developing at any time and producing tornadoes. Typically for us, though, generally during the peak heating of the day is when they form. So we're talking about 3 o'clock in the afternoon to about 7 o'clock in the evening. So that's why we do see the most active portion of the day, more so afternoon and evening, when there might be an evening commute going on or people are out and about, when we actually see a lot more daylight hours. So again, at night, it can be even more dangerous. But as far as the overall average for tornadoes here in the state of Nebraska, our peak is the month of June with about 18 on average. You can see the numbers going up through the spring and into the summer and then tapering off a little bit more in July. Now, as far as Iowa, the numbers are a little bit more and a little bit higher in some locations on average, but June is also the peak time for tornadoes to develop. So we still have a lot of time before we'll continue to see the chances going up, but they can occur at any time. The one key thing that I always tell folks, especially when I go and speak to students at schools, is it's one thing to give you the tips, but the other thing is that you should actually do a drill at home with your kids so that you know where to go, you feel more comfortable about it, and you take all of those items with you, the helmets, the pillows, and even your blankets, so that you know where to go and there's really no doubt in your mind. Jenny?